We are taking these panel cover off because we have to replace the breaker. If you look down on your lower left hand corner, the one he's got PU is the blue breaker double pole. He's going to take that off, and we're going to check the wire size. And we have a 10 kW heat in our package unit. He's going to look at the wire size. The wire size appears to be number 6 copper.
6 copper, yes.
So that will handle a 10 kW heat strip, which calls for a 60 amp breaker. Hold your breaker up. It calls for a 60 amp breaker. So what he's going to do, he's going to add this 60 amp breaker in. He's going to disconnect it and install it. So go ahead and do that. Of course, this is done live. It's hot, so he has to be real careful where he places his screwdriver. Our technicians are NATE certified. They have 4 years or more experience. Most of them have been schooled. They have a good, thorough background knowledge of electrical as well as air conditioning. They know how to strip everything back, and they know the proper safety procedures to replacing breakers. Sometimes they're very difficult to come out. As you see, this one is. It's probably been in there 20 years. Notice how he places his fingers in order not to get electrocuted. Notice how he busted his knuckles. Also, that's part of the trade hazard. Now he's going to set the breaker back in. He's going to make sure the footprint sets in the grooves correctly. Lock it in. Now, one thing you always want to do, you always want to leave the breaker turned off when you're energized and everything, so he's double checked that. Because if we have a technician out here working on it, he may get electrocuted, and that's the last thing I'm going to do is hurt a fellow employee and most of the time a friend. Safety is first in our company. He's now hooking it back up. One thing you've got to do, you've got to make sure you tighten the screw down very tightly on these breakers. Because if you don't, as the current is drawn through the wires, it'll melt the wiring around the wire, which in turn trips the breaker. And if the breaker is not tripped, or you have any kind of a fault, the system's not grounded correctly, you could possibly have a fire. So we make sure everything's checked. Also, while we're in the panel box, since we're the last ones here, he will actually go through and just ensure all the wires are tight on the other breakers. And he will also double check the neutral bars. That's one thing that we do. This is how you install a breaker. Okay, now he's double checking everything, make sure all the wires are nice and close. Okay, and he's double checking now. If you have any questions on air conditioning wiring or electrical services, breaker sizes, wire sizes, copper conductors, aluminum conductors, anything of any sort, please feel free to call Jones Air Conditioning and Electrical, 239-596-5855. And you notice these neutrals are loose. That's why you want to call a licensed professional contractor.